Good morning and buenos dias. Steve, good morning. So IBIT is still looking pretty dang good. Obviously, the markets were pulling back a little bit yesterday. So, you kind of had this little bit of weakness, obviously, in the QQQ, and really not even anything crazy, but, about an expected pullback and hopefully more. Honestly, a bit more right-hand side building here would be completely awesome. Markets looked and act great. No, I didn't get Uber yesterday, but boy, that was a nice one, wasn't it? Just really clean over 94 bucks. Might as well stick that one at 100 and start there. Bros is lagging just a little bit. It's below the 50 simple moving average right now. Right? This is not what your better names should be doing. On a day like yesterday, I thought some of the better names were acting like Uber, like Toast, right? This is exactly what you would want to see on a market down day, for your individual stock. And it really wasn't even hardly a market down day. It was just a market. It was just a small bit of digestion. How long that digestion lasts, I think your guess is as good as mine. Yeah, CDE, very nice. CDE, very nice. AG also looks fairly interesting. PAAS also looks pretty interesting. Do you like AEM? I like the gold and silver miners. I think at the moment, and in terms of Varun, I actually prefer WPM. Had this nice little downtrend line breakout. Really don't love downtrend line breakouts, but prefer flat base. But WPM was nice over 91, basically. Yeah, Rubric, another one. A nice clean bounce off the 50. This thing made such an awesome move. It deserved the right to rest the way it did. Thoughts on HSAI and SOUN? A bit too speculative for me personally. I mean, this SOUN kind of keeps going. 12 bucks now. Won't be too surprised if this one, kind of makes another little renewed move a little bit higher. HSAI, yeah. It's just been super choppy here. If you try to get yourself re-involved in this, you're just going to chop yourself to pieces. Yeah, you got a couple options with tight. Royal, you've got a tight daily candlestick the day before the breakout, and you also have tight as in the daily chart. In terms of consolidation, like tight on the daily can mean something like VEEV, right? Where it just makes a move up and then trades very, very tightly, where range starts to contract in comparison to the range expansion, right? You get this big move up, and it's 20%, and then from high to low, it trades, in a 5% range. So it's starting to trade very tight. I think Circle acts fine. I know it was down just a little bit this morning in pre-market. I don't know if there was news here. Let me see. Is there a reason for Circle to kind of sell off this morning? a downgrade or something. Underperforming rating and a target of 85. Holy shit. Okay, so that'll do it. I actually thought Circle was pretty decent, over 195 bucks. 194, I thought it was pretty good, and it took off yesterday. But then Mizuno comes out today and gives them an 85 target. I mean, that's kind of tough. But yeah, yesterday my thinking was, instead of piling into, tech heavy names, things that are like highly correlated with the NASDAQ and the S&P 500, that I would be focusing more on things outside of that. And what kind of hit my radar were the nuclear names. It kind of looks like Oklo maybe trying to turn back up. SMR is another. Is that tagged there? LEU was the big one. Another one that's just made a really, big move already and just kind of surfing the 20-day. And then CCJ. This thing's been nonstop. But yeah, I mean, and then you've also got a few of these Chinese equity names, Baidu, Billy, and then Futu. And Futu's gapping up a little bit this morning too. So, and then obviously the metal names. I mean, there are some names that look really, really nice in the metal space. My thoughts on SBET, I don't have a thought on SBET. Stocks that go from like 100 something all the way back down to dollars are hot trash 99% of the time. MVST, that's a battery name if I'm not mistaken, but I don't believe they actually, I think they're kind of more on the fraudy side. I think earnings and sales are a bit misstated, but who knows? Could it work? If the bounce off the 50, it's got to probably hold that lower $3 level. Yeah, anti-Elon working. Yeah, sad to say, but yeah. Rocket Labs working all while ASTS digests. Yeah, coin bouncing nicely. We'll see if Bitcoin's got to start breaking out. If it does, then that'll be good. Yeah, BABA as a 200 SMA undercut and rally could be interesting too. Crude. There are some names that are acting better than others too, with like your MPC acts better, and then VLO acts a little bit better than others. Yeah, Oklo SMR look interesting for sure. Not sure what to make of not sure exactly how I'd get myself involved in here, but we'll see. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. It had that offering and hasn't really done anything terribly, terribly wrong. It had this huge move up. And as long as we can begin to find some support, right? And here we had this really big move up too. And then it just started giving it all back. I think IBIT just needs to take out, this little flat pivot. 63 bucks seems like. More importantly, Bitcoin. Yeah, KGC looks good. The gold names look pretty dang good if gold holds up. There's so many gold and silver names. The last thing I really want to do is, watch gold take out 3250. Yeah, A-Lab's kind of a laggard at this point, Lost Coast. It's kind of a laggard. A lot of semis have been pushing way up for like the past, so when this thing started to pause, right? Call it like early June, end of May, right? A lot of semiconductors have been pushing higher, right? So since the end of May, I've noticed ALGM. So this is end of May right here. And this thing's been, this thing is up 35%. KLAC, end of May. This thing's up 20%. LRCX, end of May. This thing's up 20%. So it's like, there are so many other semiconductors that are acting better. CRDO, end of May, right here, up 48%. I mean, this thing looks pretty damn good, actually. Let me not forget to set an alert here. So, there are other names that are just acting so much better in the semi space than an A-Lab. At this point, A-Lab's just a laggard. Yeah, even AMD's acting better. Right? You got end of May right in here. Even this thing's up 20%. MU looks good too. Right? End of May, up 30%. Yeah, CoreWeave looks interesting. They crushed cores, man. They said they were going to buy out Core Scientific and just got totally beaten up. Cores did. First time that ran, second time beaten up. I don't know that we should expect new sectors to lead. It feels like the stocks that want to lead have already kind of shown their face. My thoughts on GSIT, too extended. You can't really, I mean, if you had bought it coming out of, this little digestion here, fine. But you know why I don't like GSIT? I could tell you really quickly. It trades less than $1 million on average. I mean, that's terrible, to keep it honest with you. Lemonade. Aren't they an insurance company? I feel like somebody told me to get Lemonade for dog insurance. Is that a thing? I'm not even sure. REVG. This one had a few nice setups recently. This thing has been in a really nice uptrend for a while. This thing had a high volume close setup, had a nice little earnings gap up, had a nice little continuation flag right in here. Yeah, I mean, Oscar obviously had that big down move. With the other healthcare stocks. So not too surprised that people haven't asked me about it. Big pickup in volume. I mean, I don't really see a setup here just yet. I just see a shitload of chop is what I see. Nice recent pickup in volume, but Man, SoFi's been great. That one kind of hurts. Had this thing at like 14 and a half, 14.78. Would I say REVG had an inside day yesterday? Yeah, but you can't buy this here, Strata. Like, you didn't like it over here against these nice tight moving averages, or right here out of this little bull flag and then an earnings gap up, but you like it way up here out of a inside day. I mean, you're late to the party, my friend. You're way extended from the 52 here. You're up 24% from the 50 day, and this thing moves 2.7% per day. You're almost 10 times its average true range from the 50. I mean, that's up there. That's way up there. Like way, way, way up there. You weren't watching it down here on the earnings gap up, or, right in here as this thing retightened against its moving averages, or right in here on this, as it got tight and got reclaimed its moving averages, or right in here as a little flat base breakout, or right in here as it pulled back and got nice and tight against its moving averages. But you like it way up here, far away from everything. No way. No way. Twilio. Yeah, not bad. ATAT, they're in a good group right now. I thought this was perfect yesterday. Perfection for ATAT yesterday. And it's in a good group. This is like a hospitality name. I believe it's like a hotel stock. And this one was moving with like a Hilton recently and Marriott. Hilton acting the best, in my opinion. Yeah, BWXT, they're aerospace and defense. Yeah, that's been acting well for a while. Yeah, not bad. Just still extended, a little bit extended from the 50, but not bad. Yeah, decent little base breakout, little flag being built up. Not bad, really. It's in a good group. Could be a little bit better, but it's just been in a, could this be like a late stage? This has been going for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 quarters now. That's a lot. That is a lot. Yeah, I have Toast on watch. It needs to get going over 45 bucks. Needs to take out this ugly down days bar for me. But it's really done nothing wrong since earnings, but it's also done nothing right. That's the problem. NOW, ServiceNow. Yeah. Issue with ServiceNow is it's slow. Yeah, Toast's price action is a little bit of a pain in the ass, but well, solar has earned also the right to digest for a little bit, right? This thing gapped down on bad news and got bought up every single day since that bad news. So a little bit of digestion here seems pretty warranted. I didn't really see any news this morning, that would make me think they should be pulling back a bunch, but NXT's your leader. Yeah, NXT is the leader. No, I don't think Sedge is buyable on an inside day. Right? I mean, from the lows, this thing is up 100%. Right? It's good to be patient. Just wait for it for a little bit. Lots of market orders and reading level 2. Lots of market orders and reading level 2. IBD ATAT is group number 133. Oh, that's not so good. So let's look at those earnings and sales. So pretty good earnings and sales there. And group number, you're probably right. Let's take a look. In the last 12 months, industry rank is 15 out of 73 is what I have here. Hotels is group number 15 right now. Yeah, Boeing's been acting better. It acts better than all the other airline names. I mean, obviously they're not an airline. They're a little bit different. Yeah, Hood's still a bit extended from the 50. Hood's still quite a bit extended. Still like 6 times its average true range from the 50. Let it tighten up a little bit more. It's not going anywhere. Your dollar volume requirement should be based on the size of your portfolio, not based on something I tell you. Zscaler. Yeah, I don't. After a massive move like this, I like this flat base down here a little bit better. And after a massive move like this, I don't love wedging price action. I would like to see it slow down a little bit more and actually build out a better base. It's just kind of nonstop here. I don't think it's buyable up here. Yeah, I mean, this is just, kind of nuts buying up here. I needed to digest a little bit more. Like the first retest of the 50, I would probably be there to be a buyer. Inno data is interesting. A little choppy, but maybe over 52 bucks could be good. Who knows? Yeah, I don't think ZS is a flat base. In fact, let me just check something real quick. I just want to see how extended they still are. Still 6.65 times its average true range from the 50. That's up there. It's not really viable to me. My average hold time, I can tell you right now, over the last, good morning, Snacks. Like, we'll just say over the last, 3 months since this bull market started. Let's go like April 1st to today's date, July 8th. April 1st, July 8th. Average hold time is 15 days. Average hold time on a losing trade is 23 hours. I don't understand this question. I don't know how to answer that for you, Strata. How much percent should a stock's dollar volume be of the market cap? I don't think that matters too much. I don't know. I've never really thought about it like that. It's like over my head for a second, or maybe I just haven't slept or drinking my espresso. How much percent should a stock's dollar volume be of? No, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Oh, that doesn't matter at all. I think you're thinking about the wrong thing. You should be thinking about how liquid is the stock for your portfolio when you go to buy it. You shouldn't be thinking about how much dollar volume compared to their market cap they trade. That's completely irrelevant. VRT. This isn't a flat base. This is just a wedging pattern here. You want to see a flat base? Look at ARC. Right? You see this? Horizontal line means flat. Right? VRT, not flat. Your better setups they look like this, guys. They're moves up and they're flags like that. Right? They're moves up, they're flat bases like this. Right? Moves up that just then end up looking like this. Right? Those are rising wedges. Anybody want to know what happens out of a rising wedge? Typically. Right? And then it creates a new pivot, flat base, where it then comes back up to the flat base and then eventually breaks out. These rising wedges are so hard to limit risk in here. Imagine trying, yes, it's in an uptrend, but imagine trying to get situated in this. Unless you're buying the dips to ascending moving averages, which you totally could. You absolutely could. But yeah, this is no flat base. I like rubric so long as it stays above the 50 simple moving average. I think it looks pretty dang good. No, I don't have a profit target on swings. If we're just coming out of a correction, I want to be as patient as possible. Yeah, I don't look at just how many shares are traded, right? I need dollar volume. Just if like it, so if a stock just trades 5 million shares a day, but it's a dollar stock, that's not enough for me, right? But if a stock trades 5 million shares a day and it's a $100 stock, that's plenty. Way more than enough. Oh, CoreWeave got downgraded today too. Mizuno, same people. Damn, Mizuno must have missed the train. Mizuno probably missed the bull run and, trying to knock them down a little bit. I like Toast. I haven't looked at Doc's earnings and sales. Take a quick peek. Yeah, not bad. Rising sales estimates. Yeah, I like Toast a little bit better. I see their growth, their business, like their growth in their business. How long should a flat base be typically? You know what? That's kind of subjective because it also depends the group that it's in. If the group looks ready to go, sometimes the flat base only needs to be 3 weeks, and other times, if the market has just made a big move up, sometimes, and the individual group has made a big move up, sometimes the base needs to be 7 weeks. SVV, this one has not come up on my radar for good reason. It's too thin. Trades 6 million bucks a day, and it's not even in an uptrend really. ULS, better. I think we talked about this one yesterday, actually. It's pretty decent. Yeah, I like them both if gold and silver are going. Kinross. I once owned Kinross down here, like 1360s. Not only did I scalp lost, I also traded sympathy plays. So I was scalping sympathy plays. You really don't want to do what I was doing on TD Ameritrade or really any broker. You don't want to use that many market orders. A lot of brokers don't offer midpoint fills, so that's number one. I mean, I know TD Ameritrade did. I'm not sure if they still do. I'm assuming so. But I also traded a lot of sympathy plays, man, off of like a lead runner. So you'd have like this, lead runner moving, and then I would be trading the backup name off of that. I personally don't love Sound too much. I think they're a little too speculative in my book, but also, nah, there's no clean setup here. It's just random up day. Deep View. I use Deep View. I support the fellows of Traderline. They built a good program. Also, Market Surge is another option too. The dogs are doing well. They're still sleeping upstairs. Yeah, Dave, great question. I do alter the time of sideways needed in a strong market, also based on how big the move the group already made. If the group has made a massive move already, then I'm kind of thoughtful of that too. Yeah, on. You know, yeah, this and it held the 200 pretty well. We'll see. Like the little, kind of pickup in volume here. But the other shoe names like Deck and Crocs, Skechers is being bought out, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So, the other shoe companies, they're not doing a whole bunch. Yeah, the problem with hyper scalping is it's not scalable, right? It stops being scalable to a big portfolio. I know guys who can make, $5,000 a day scalping or more, and that's great and all until you're staring at, a $5 million account and you no longer want to trade because you're only making 5,000 bucks, right? So, or a little bit more, 10,000, 20,000, something like that. But it stops being scalable. It's like, what do you do when you've got, 20 million, 30 million, 40 million? I mean, some people just want to retire, but some people just want to scale their portfolios. Yeah, swing trading is much easier than day trading. Has a much longer shelf life too. While you're like trying to learn, day trading, there's a reason 95% of people fail. A much, much, much longer shelf life on swing trading. I wouldn't say Nike's the leader. Nike's been in a downtrend since September of 23. Really a little bit before then too. But, since the 200 flipped down, September of 23, just a straight downtrend. Road. Yeah, not terrible. Don't really like how loose this thing is up here, but, not bad. Shopify, I like Shopify. It's like the best Canadian company out there, in my opinion. Best Canadian publicly traded company. Wolf, no. This is a bankruptcy run, dude. Why would you even be bothering to look at this? They're filing for bankruptcy. You think now they're in some uptrend or something? A few days up in a row? Better off leaving them alone. Yeah, Shop trades like shit. I bought Shop and SoFi on the exact same day. And SoFi's way higher than Shopify now. Much higher. I don't know that Oklo looks ready, but it's looking a whole lot better, right? It looks like it might have stopped going down. Python, I think it's a pretty simple. How do I manage risk on a breakout versus a bounce? Okay, so on a breakout, I just buy the breakout and I set my stop at low of day. And on a bounce, I might be buying a bounce against an ascending moving average and I buy it as it starts to turn back up. And then I just set my stop at low of day. One offers me sometimes a little bit tighter of risk, so I can buy a few more. I can size it up just a touch. But I mean, I manage the risk the same. I don't get into any trades unless I know where I'm leaving if I'm wrong. right? I don't get into any trades unless I know exactly where I'm leaving if and when I'm wrong. I think that's like step number one. Not sure what's happening to gold here a little bit, but it is pulling back at the open, and we are losing the 50 simple moving average. Silver, you're pulling back here quite a bit. So, in terms of the gold names, who knows? All of it. What? Good question. 1, 3, and 6 month, man. All of it's good. You want to look at all of them. Like, you want to know where money's going. And then here's another thing you can do. Like, look at 6 month and then look at the relative strength, and then look at 3 month and then look at 1 month and see if you see a group that's actually climbing the leaderboard. Yeah, or I just buy it as it's breaking the 5 minute high. Yep. Yeah, Futu looks pretty interesting. ENVX, I know is a battery name. No, I wouldn't trade this as a high volume close setup personally. No. Too extended from the 50 simple moving average. Right? Just way too extended. I mean, it's made 100% move off the lows. That's cool. 140% actually. Now a little bit of sideways here would be good. I don't really adjust anything, Jim. The only real thing that I do is I just make sure that I'm aligning. So here's kind of like my process. I'm always looking for clean technical setups. I'm looking for those technical setups in top 40 groups. And then I'm trying to make sure that those stocks have some decent earnings and sales. And as long as they're in good groups, and then there's good relative volume going through the pivot, whether it be over a prior day high, a nice flat base through a key moving average, then I just buy it and set my stop at low of day. I really don't compensate, too much more for quote unquote slower summer months. The after fundamentals. Institutions buy it because they've got good fundamentals, good accelerating earnings and sales. If you read Bill O'Neill, he tells you before stocks make really, really big advances, they tend to show accelerating earnings and sales at least 30% quarter over quarter. So they have accelerating earnings and sales, and they're in a good group. Less than four, Surreal. Great question. How close do you keep your buys to the 50 SMA? So less than 4 times its average true range from the 50. If it's a smaller cap, you can go, five times. So if like it moves, call it 3% per day, like no more than 12%. 12 to 15% is roughly the max. And then at 7 times, I'm looking to trim. I'm thinking about stocks that aren't highly tech correlated. So kind of staying away from, just really highly correlated beta names. So anything in the NASDAQ or in the S&P 500, I'm kind of looking into other places, whether it be the metals, some Chinese equities, really even some like of the nuclear uranium names, right? Those aren't correlated at all. They're just kind of moving to the beat of their own drum. Yeah, Archer's just chopping here. I think Joby's acting a whole lot better, to be honest with you. Whoops. Joby acts much better. No, these are just their average daily range. ATR, I have like another little, like a bot basically that kind of tells me their ATR from the 50. I appreciate you guys. I got to get ready for stream. As always, you guys are the best. Thank you guys for the tons of questions this morning, and I will see you guys in 23 hours. Trade them safe today. Cheers.